You wake up, look out the window, and there it is. Earth, just this glowing blue jewel floating silently in the absolute dark. You're not standing on dirt or rock or grass. You're living inside a massive city in the sky, one that literally never touches the ground. You just watch continents slip by beneath you and storms swirling over these endless oceans.
So, what if you actually lived in space? It's a massive question, right? Imagine a sky that just surrounds you in literally every direction. Imagine catching a breathtaking sunrise every 90 minutes. We're talking about millions of people living their entire lives inside one colossal structure, whipping around the planet at incredible speeds. And look, this isn't science fiction or some movie pitch anymore. We're looking at the absolute realities of what happens when humanity actually builds this.
The first thing you have to wrap your head around is the stark reality of this place. No roads, no forests, no ground beneath your feet. There's no horizon in the way we're used to. The whole meaning of the word home completely flips. Instead of weather patterns and normal gravity, your day-to-day life is basically endless metal corridors, incredibly bright artificial parks, and massive airlocks. The idea of just stepping outside? Yeah, that becomes dangerous, super rare, and deeply respected because every single inch of this habitat is engineered for one thing: keeping you alive.
To pull this off, obviously, we have to solve the gravity problem. Long-term human life without gravity is just a non-starter. It totally wrecks bone strength and muscle health. So engineers have to design the station as this colossal wheel, cylinder, or ring stretching for miles across. And it spins. It spins to generate centrifugal force, which gives us artificial gravity. You'd actually have different zones rotating at different speeds to simulate Earth-like conditions. That's what allows families to walk, sit, sleep, and just feel a sense of normal, everyday comfort, hundreds of thousands of miles above the planet.
Section 1. Building a Celestial City.
Now, a project this massive absolutely doesn't just start as a full-blown city. Step 1 is super functional. We're talking a specialized research hub, maybe a military outpost, or a supply station. Then, in Step 2, it evolves. It becomes a deep space transfer point for missions heading out to the Moon or Mars. But Step 3 is where the magic really happens. Once humans move in permanently, the whole dynamic shifts. Schools open up, hospitals are built. You've got vegetables growing in massive hydroponic bays. The station naturally sheds its identity as just a machine and turns into this strange, futuristic, but entirely real metropolis.
Section 2. Birth of Space Culture.
Think about the massive cultural divide this creates between Earth and orbit. For the first generation of kids actually born on the station, Earth is the weird, exotic place. To them, things like rainstorms, oceans, or even just getting dirt under your shoes, those are basically myths. Their everyday reality is metal walls, totally climate-controlled parks, enclosed playgrounds, and floating maintenance drones. Their identity isn't tied to a specific country or continent down below. They are, quite literally, space station people.
Because of this, daily life has to adapt in some pretty wild ways. Fashion? It becomes entirely practical. You're wearing low-bulk clothing that plays nice with life support systems. Food is heavily optimized, meaning your meals might be 3D printed with astonishing precision just to maximize nutrients without taking up extra space. Even the art and architecture change. Hallways would curve gracefully just to match the station's rotating structure. And since the environment is so artificial, virtual reality becomes a huge deal. It offers these vital sensory escapes into natural landscapes and wilderness that the residents almost never get to experience in real life.
Entertainment and sports completely evolved too. Sure, traditional games might stick around, but entirely new orbital sports would pop up. Imagine tuning in on a Sunday to watch zero-G acrobatics performed in these specialized low-gravity zones on the station. We're talking low-gravity racing, crazy three-dimensional obstacle courses, and magnetic climbing. Movie theaters wouldn't just be flat screens. They'd be massive, curved panoramic setups showing deep space documentaries. It's a total transformation of how we play and relax.
Section 3. Power, Economy, and Politics.
The economic potential of a station like this is just staggering. Over in the science sector, you've got labs studying microgravity medicine and running advanced climate modeling. For industry, the station acts as a hub for low-gravity manufacturing and shipyards, literally letting us assemble massive spacecraft right there in orbit. And in logistics, it becomes the ultimate refueling depot and trade hub. Insane amounts of wealth would flow through this place, making it easily one of the most valuable pieces of infrastructure ever built. And honestly, whoever controls it controls access to the rest of the solar system. Which naturally leads us to a massive, really thorny question. Who actually governs the station?
Is it claimed by one country, or is it completely international? Do people born up there inherit Earth citizenship, or are they citizens of the station itself? What laws even apply if a crime happens in orbit? Are we talking public housing, or will only the ultra-wealthy get to live there? Diplomats and governments are going to be forced to face these rapid-fire political dilemmas very, very quickly.
Section 4. The cost of survival.
Life up there might sound beautiful, but it is absolutely never casual. You are constantly surrounded by the hostile void of space. Just think about it. A tiny micrometeoroid could puncture the outer hull at any moment. Radiation from solar storms means you need incredibly advanced shielding. A simple power failure? That doesn't just mean the lights go out, it endangers the very air you're breathing. And fire? A fire in a sealed, pressurized habitat is absolutely terrifying.
Because those threats are always looming, survival relies heavily on interdependent systems working flawlessly all the time. The entire station acts like one giant living organism. Every single breath you take is tied to continuous air regeneration. Every drop of water requires near total recycling. Waste management has to be absolutely perfect, and maintenance literally never stops. Every single part of the station is completely dependent on every other part.
That intense technical reality completely shapes human behavior. Up there, survival depends on working together. Down here on Earth, we sometimes act like our resources are just endless. But on a station, waste is incredibly expensive. Water is sacred. Electricity is precious. This forces the creation of a hyper-cooperative, intensely disciplined society where a mechanic, a biologist, and a doctor are all equally essential. There's literally no room for carelessness.
Section 5. Humanity's next evolution.
What we're really looking at here is humanity's next evolution. And you can see that most clearly in how we'd have to raise our kids. Alongside regular math and science, students would be learning station systems. Imagine school kids learning how to rapidly seal a compartment or how to route emergency power. They'd be running pressure loss drills instead of fire drills. They'd even have to learn physical three-dimensional navigation, where up and down aren't always what you think. Education fundamentally shifts because it has to ensure survival.
Ultimately, this quote really nails it. We would become a species with multiple homes, a species that can survive across environments. This giant station, it's just the prototype. Once we prove we can live comfortably in orbit, we can start building massive ring worlds or rotating colonies near the moon or Mars. We wouldn't just be limited to valleys and coastlines anymore. We'd literally be building our homes in the sky and fundamentally changing what it means to be human in the process.
We'd quickly learn that civilization isn't just the ground under our feet. It's something we build, carry, and protect wherever we go. Sure, it might feel impossible today, but you know, so did flight once upon a time. So did landing on the moon. Every future begins as a thought experiment. Then it becomes a blueprint, and eventually it becomes a home. So after seeing exactly what it takes and exactly what it means, would you choose to live there if you had the chance?